and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, with my boy,
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
the gift that keeps on giving, the beautiful sport of football, man.
Oh, yeah.
Premier League action, La Liga action, Liga MX, MLS, Copa Sudamericana, USL. A weekend full of magical moments.
Yeah.
I have to talk about Liverpool.
Oh, please.
I have to.
Yeah, you
I
have
can't
to, man.
contain myself, man.
You have to, bro.
I have to talk about Liverpool. I'm sorry. There's been beautiful stuff happening all around the world of football. We will touch on that. But what Liverpool did this weekend and what has transpired in the Premier League, I think is one of the biggest headlines in football because Liverpool now has an 8-point lead in the Prem after defeating Southampton, a comeback victory, by the way, winning 3-2 after being down 2-1 to go 8 points clear of a Manchester City side that has now lost their 5th game in a row. Mo Salah, the favorite for the Ballon d'Or at this current moment. The question of best team in Europe, I think, has never been more clear after what we've seen go on with Barcelona. Liverpool is cooking right now. Arne Slot with one of the greatest starts we've ever seen to a season. Salah coming close to Thierry Henry's Premier League goal-scoring record. The season we're having, the moments I'm seeing. This is one of the greatest years I've had as a Liverpool fan. And it's crazy because we're only getting started. Let's see what happens at the end of the year. But what's insane is that we are now set up for an all-time matchup next week, bro, where we get the chance to see Liverpool host Manchester City at Anfield with the opportunity to go 11 points clear and surpass the Soltero ruling that is so famous of going 10 points clear in the league if they win that game.
But wouldn't there maybe be like Chelsea or Arsenal? Wouldn't they be at like 9 points if they win or something like that?
No, that's true.
It'd be something like that.
That's true.
So the league won't be over if those teams win.
True. No, that's true.
So,
Good point. We'll see how those games transpire. But Liverpool continues playing incredible football.
This win against Southampton is the type of win that a championship winning side gets. Because I'm going to be completely honest, man. There was a lot of luck in this game from a Liverpool perspective. All 3 goals were self-inflicted wounds from Southampton's defense, man. The first one, trying to play out the back. Goalkeeper gives it right down the middle. The player immediately panics, actually saves the moment, gives it back to a center back, and then the center back scuffs the clearance.
Awful clearance.
Scuffs it terribly. Yeah. And there's your boy Soboslai to just put it home 1-0. You know what I'm saying? Then the second goal. What is McCarthy doing? Coming out of his box on a wide ball. It's Mohamed Salah. He's going to burn you. The image of McCarthy.
He put all the chips on the table. There was like, he's not touching this ball. Yeah. He like really gambled completely and he got punished immediately. It's the easiest goal Salah's ever scored, man.
It was so stupid. And then the third goal, more unluckiness, pure unluckiness for Southampton. A handball for Sugurawa. Nothing he can do. Doesn't take anything away from Liverpool, though, because they just said thank you very much 3 times. So there's nothing wrong with what Liverpool did. I'm just saying this was definitely a lucky type of result for Liverpool.
Yeah, it wasn't a good performance for Liverpool, man.
It's one that you need, though, if you want to go on to win the Premier League. We've seen Manchester City do it for the last 4 years where they get wins out of seemingly nowhere. Yeah. And I think this is one of those cases, but this time in Liverpool's favor, bro. So it's just getting better. It's getting better for Liverpool, even when they have a bad performance, even when their opponent shows up. A really tough road game at St. Mary's, it doesn't matter. Liverpool get 3 points.
It was far from our best. Far from our best when you look at this performance and compare it to what we've seen from Liverpool this entire season. The reason that I still take away such a positive from this match, though, is because we weren't at our best. You got to see truly how badly Mo Salah specifically wants the Premier League title. He's taking his shirt off, bro. He's going shirtless. We saw shirtless Salah today in full effect, showcasing that passion and that want to the point where I feel like even in these tight games, or even when we're losing, I think Salah will single-handedly do his absolute best to bring the team back to the level that we've seen him and carry them to a Premier League title. I've already told you before about the tweets that he's posting online, the comments he's making off the pitch. He seems totally locked in. He's breaking records every single week, and he's showcasing his skill on the field as well, which is why I go to say that he's the Ballon d'Or front runner at this moment. But I just think it goes so far beyond that, because from the 50th minute to the 90th, I saw a monstrous version of Salah who you give those mistakes to, he's going to take full advantage of. And so I love what I'm seeing from him. Best right winger that has ever graced the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I want to give him his plaudits, because the passion he displayed today, I think, is going to end up infiltrating all of our other players who are also playing top football at this moment.
If he can keep this up, man, it'd be so poetic, because I think the staple of Salah is his consistency of playing at such a high level. And for him to get a Ballon d'Or nomination, and maybe he goes all the way or gets very close to it, would make so much sense, because he's been so consistent in the Premier League for so long. To do it now in what might be his last season at Liverpool,
I can't believe that.
Would be both poetic but also a little sad. But my God, I hope he continues this rampant run. For Southampton, though, I do want to say one last thing. I fucking love this team, dude. I really do. And they may get relegated. I don't care. But they play good football. But they just can't help concede. They just can't help themselves. They're gonna concede every single game. But you saw in this game against Liverpool, there are times when they can play proper football, and they do it every single week. It's just tough for them to defend perfectly for 90 minutes. Their defense is gonna be the death of them. But hey, you see my boy Dibbling?
Dude, Dibbling.
My boy Dibbling, bro.
The standout, bro.
Standout, bro.
Stand out.
I mentioned him like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I saw that boy touch. I saw that guy take 3 touches of the football, and I was like, this guy's got something. He's got it. He's got something special, bro. And he popped off against Liverpool today, drawing the penalty, and then on the second goal, providing the cross-field switch pass to eventually set up Mateus Fernandes. So Dibbling, bro, just keep watching him. He's a joy to watch, truly. He's such a good dribbler. He's so powerful once he gets going in his stride. Southampton definitely have a gem in Dibbling. Southampton's known for being a team that oftentimes can get a little picked apart in the transfer market. How much would you be willing to pay for Dibbling to go join you at Atleti or any club? If you're managing a club, what do you think his price tag is worth right now? Damn. I guess, how old is he? Exactly how old is he?
Tyler Dibbling is 18 years old.
I'm paying 40 to 50.
40 to 50?
I'm paying top dollar, bro.
English
I'm paying
talent.
top dollar.
Bro, man, that's and I mean, he's only played 14 games in the Prem. That's it. Before that, he only played 5 games for Southampton. So he wasn't even part of their championship squad, honestly. So he completely rose to the occasion. But he's been great. Yeah. And any other players from Southampton that you think stand out?
I mean, honestly, Mateus Fernandes, I think he's just a really good midfielder, always involved. I think he's a really solid player. But just in general, I love the way that Southampton play. If they just had better defenders, I think they could guarantee themselves safety. I still think they have a chance to not get relegated. But yeah, they're going to have a very important couple months come December, January for sure.
Crazy. They had Van Dijk at one point.
Sadio Mane, too.
That's crazy. They're getting relegated, bro. They're on 4 points.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Crystal Palace is next at 8. That's double their points, man.
Hey, bro.
And then Ipswich at 9. Ipswich playing some good ball, bro.
It's really great ball. I have no worries about Ipswich. It's going to be tough for sure, but if they can pull together this month of December specifically, but if they just keep, I'm going to wait till January to say anything.
Okay, no, fair enough. Moving on, this result was really important because obviously the Liverpool-Manchester City title race factor is the headline of this league, and Manchester City now loses once again to a team that I guess has their number, man, because the performances I see from Tottenham specifically every time they go against Manchester City are incredible, bro. Incredible the way they step up to this Man City level. And Manchester City now loses their 5th game in a row with the scoreline of 4-0. A Postecoglou masterclass, if you will, with James Maddison getting a brace in this game. What a crazy result, and just insane to see Manchester City, Pep Guardiola's side, get dismantled like this, because at one point I felt a little bad for City, man. I haven't felt that in ever, if anything, man.
Dude, same. Honestly, a sad Pep, I didn't realize, makes me sad. It makes me sad seeing Pep
I just
distraught
never
on
see
the
that,
sideline. And
Yeah.
just him furrowing his brow, touching his scalp, like just nonstop. I'm like, Pep, chill.
Yeah,
Hey, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, though.
Maybe it's not
Maybe
because
it's
Manchester
not.
City now is set to face off against Liverpool. What do you think is going to happen in that match? What do you have happening? Manchester City, Liverpool. Big week for Liverpool, by the way.
It has to be a victory in Liverpool. Like, it has to be. The way that both teams are playing, I think it would actually be a failure if Liverpool don't win. I could see a draw simply because City have top quality players, right? And I know they're on a really bad run right now, but still, they can show up on any given day. A loss is out of the question, though, for Liverpool. They will not lose against the City side, and if they do, then something drastically bad has to go wrong for Liverpool. Liverpool are going to beat Manchester City.
Yeah, I think I'm aware of your rule personally that a team has to go 10 points clear to win the league, and that might not happen if Arsenal and Chelsea get results. But for me personally, if we beat Manchester City, coming off of what we just did this week and the lead that we have, we're winning the league. We beat Manchester City after hopefully a victory against Real Madrid, we're winning the Prem and the Champions League, bro. That's what we're figuring out this week, man, because I just think it's that big of a moment. The stage is going to be massive, and I just have a feeling that Anfield is going to be raucous. It's going to be ridiculous with the momentum we built going into this game and what has happened for Manchester City. For Tottenham, I mean, this is what we know, man.
This is what we know. This is what
They
we've seen all season. If they can just understand that they can play this way every single week, then for sure we should be able to see them maybe inch closer to that 7th, 6th place, 5th place position. They have the talent. That's not the question. Now, I think for Tottenham specifically, it's figuring out, okay, how can they play against teams that bunker in? Because clearly against teams that try and play a high line, they actually completely dismantle them simply because the players that they have are ridiculously good in space. Heung-min Son, the silhouette of him out on the wing receiving a ball is going to be iconic one day. It's ridiculous. James Maddison, one of the most dynamic attacking midfielders out there. Kulusevski's having an incredible season out on the right hand side, and then you have Odegaard, who's injured right now, but once he comes back in, bro, he's going to be tearing down the wings. So they're great in space. It's just trying to figure out when they play against teams that are bunker in defensively. That's where Tottenham really, really struggle. And then they don't score and they'll get caught out in the back and lose a game 1-2-0. So Tottenham just need to figure that out. Obviously, though, when they play against teams like City, they do incredibly well. And this game was, truly, bro, 4
is nuts.
4 is so much. It's a complete blowout. It's a complete blowout. You look at the goals in this game, though, it's shocking how poorly City are playing. That first goal, Kulusevski gets the ball on the right-hand side. He sees a running James Maddison going straight down the middle into the box, and he finds him perfectly. It's a brilliant finish and a brilliant find from Kulusevski and Maddison. But if you notice the build-up in that play, Gundogan was chasing Maddison, and then he stopped chasing him. He saw that Maddison was going into the box, and then he just pointed at, I think it was Akanji. He was like, hey, you take him. And Akanji was going to take him. He was busy looking at the ball. Walker was busy 2 out wide dealing with Heung-min Son. And so Maddison had a wide open run, sloppy defending from Gundogan specifically. You have to chase your man all the way. There's no way you can accept that read from a center back and right back. It's a stupid decision from Gundogan. The second goal was actually just brilliant football from Tottenham.
The movement was crazy from James Maddison. It's like he saw 3 steps ahead. It was weird. Like he was like, I have to be in that specific spot in 2 seconds. And he runs around, hands the ball off to Heung-min Son, and then runs around him. The defense doesn't track him, lets him just fill into that gap. And the way he receives it, the touch on the ball and the finish, it's world class in my opinion from James Maddison.
Yeah, gorgeous reverse pass from Heung-min Son too. And the finish, world class. 2 little touches to settle and then the dink over the keeper, gorgeous. And the third goal, this is where City have been really getting caught out these last 5-6 games. They try to win the ball back high up. So obviously there will be moments where their center backs go out wide to try and win it. Thing is, they're not winning it anymore, man. They're not winning it anymore. And when they get caught out, their opponents infiltrate the open space and there's no defensive coverage and recovery. None. Tottenham completely exposed Manchester City in that third goal. And Akanji, once he got caught out, dude, he was trotting back. He knew he got beat. He was like, I'm not catching up to this bullshit. And he, at that point, an hour into the match was just getting ran all over the place. This is where it's just going completely wrong for them. Their defense and their defensive midfield, it's just not working. And they're getting beat. And then the motivation to track back, it's just not there. We noted fatigue as something that's really been rampant in the City side this past month, but it's just not going away, man. It's not going away. It's very concerning.
I think it's very similar. I think it parallels Liverpool's season, I believe 2021, 2022, where we just completely dropped off, and due to the reason that a lot of our core players had they're just a little bit past it. Fabinho wasn't the same defensive midfielder that he was in his prime. Naby Keita was barely getting games, still struggling with injuries. Roberto Firmino, Sadio Mane were starting to lose their quality that they used to have. Yeah. And there was I would say about 3 to 5 core players that just weren't up to the level that they were accustomed to before. Jordan Henderson as well was a big part of that midfield too. And then we had to make the moves. We had to get them replaced to then progress forward and build off of that. I think we're seeing the same thing from City, bro. It's the same timeline. It's the same concept of great players, quality players on any other team, but with the crop of players that they have right now, it's no longer good enough. They can't keep up anymore. Is it fatigue from having won so much? It definitely could be. But it's also a physical fatigue, I think, that they just aren't capable of making up anymore. So I think for City, I think that's why I'm so against the idea of, this is just a struggling City side that then goes on to win 20 straight games in January, February. They're not going to do that this year, man, because I think this team truly needs to be revamped in a lot of positions, man, to continue dominating the way that they have these past 5, 6, 7 years, man.
And I will say, I love watching big clubs falter like this. Dude, I love it, man. Like, if you're a City fan, I'm so sorry. But just as a generic fan of football, bro, I am loving every single moment that City's getting whooped, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'm hate watching these games.
I love it.
I'm hate watching every single one of these games. I love it, man. I really do. It's just... In our podcast history, they've never been this bad. We've only ever spoken highly of Manchester City. So, pretty rare moment, man.
Dude, and I was looking at all the top 7 leagues in Europe. The Premier League, if you just look at the table, let's say you haven't watched any soccer, the Premier League looks like the least competitive because of the gap that Liverpool possess.
It's that big?
Dude, it's 8 points obviously in the Prem right now, and every other league, like in Germany, I think it's like 4 points. In Italy, it's 1 point. In Spain, which we can get to in a second, it's potentially 1 point if Madrid beat Valencia in their makeup game. It's ridiculous. Portugal, I think it's like 4 points. Eredivisie is like 1 point. It's all really tight, honestly, throughout Europe. But the Premier League has Liverpool and 8 points and I love clear.
That. That's why I'm so confident, bro.
Yeah.
I love. We might win this shit by Christmas.
Yeah.
It might be over, bro.
Dude, seriously.
And that brings so much joy and calm to my well-being, bro. And it's similar to how the last time that we won it in 2019, we had it won by January, man.
Yeah.
Because Man City just fell off that year. God, I really want that again. I really, really do. Is the biggest takeaway from Arsenal Nottingham that Odegaard really is that much of a difference?
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to come on here and say, please, Lord God, protect Odegaard's legs.
That's what every Arsenal fan is saying, is going to be saying for the next 10 years, bro.
Dude, and Arteta needs him. Arsenal fans need him. The team needs Martin Odegaard on the goddamn pitch.
I understand. I knew he was such a class player, but I didn't realize it was this
crazy,
this big, the role that he plays for Arsenal. Like, it's do or die, with or without Martin Odegaard. So that's a new truth you have to accept if you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, and because without him, they're just simply a counter-attacking side who have threat on the wings with Bukayo Saka specifically, and then sometimes Trossard or sometimes Martinelli. But with Odegaard on the pitch, then all of a sudden they have sustained possession in their opponent's third, and they're knocking the ball around their opponent's box, and they generate chances like it's nothing. It's night and day when Odegaard's on the pitch versus not. And that first goal, that little sideways dish to Bukayo Saka, pinnacle Odegaard.
Yeah.
Peak. It's so simple, but that pass, only Odegaard can make that pass. It's ridiculous. It just, the cheekiness to just like slightly just put it into Saka's path on a sideways dish. And then Saka did brilliantly to just kind of ride the wave, showed perfect hesitation and composure, and then blasted it 1-0 Arsenal. And honestly, they should have gone up 2 or 3-0 in the next 15 minutes because they were dominating Nottingham. And for the rest of this match, bro, I mean, Forest offered nothing.
And that's what disappoints me, man, because Forest, we spoke so highly of. I love their story, their narrative, but these past 2 games, losing 3-0 to Arsenal and then 3-1 to Newcastle, it's everything I didn't want to see. I was hoping, and I honestly thought that they'd be more competitive in both of those matches, but they reverted to relegation Nottingham in both these games.
Yeah, reality check, I think, is what these last 2 matches have been in the Prem for Nottingham. Is just, all right, yeah, maybe we're not in the top 4. They really showed it, bro, because Arsenal was a complete league above Nottingham. And again, like, just as you said, I was really disappointed because I was wondering, I was like, are Nottingham going to show up? But no, nothing, dude. Nothing.
It's not the worst thing, though.
Great performance from Arsenal. No,
because I've been saying for Nottingham, I mean, I've never seen them finish within the top 10. That's what I'm hoping for. Their goal is to finish 9th or 8th. They're in 7th right now, and they're only 3 points behind Arsenal. So Arsenal's in 4th. Like, they still are very well in the mix. Top 4, top 5, or any European playoff spot is pretty ambitious, but I just want to see them finish top 10, man. Yeah. And I think they can still do that. I really do. La Liga. We've got a title race on our hands that obviously became apparent last week or before the international break, but it's getting tighter. It's getting tighter because today Real Madrid beat Leganes 3-0, but the 3 points here mattered a lot because Barcelona has now dropped points 2 games in a row, this time to Celta Vigo side, who they were up 2-0 on. And in the final 10-15 minutes, Celta Vigo just turned it up, got back into the match, and got a point out of this game. Barcelona losing a little bit of steam, a little bit of fire that they started the season off with, and paralleling the absence of Lamine Yamal as well. This Barca team dropping points at a very important time.
The last 15 minutes was a complete collapse defensively for Barcelona. Terrible defending from Jules Koundé and Hector Fort on the wings. And Marc Casado with some really rash decision-making in the defensive mid. I think the yellow cards were completely warranted. He gets sent off. They're playing down a man for the rest of the match. Celta Vigo take full advantage. They non-stop attack Barcelona, and they just completely cave. They completely cave. I'm really shocked about this one, honestly. They took a 2-0 lead. Rafinha actually almost made it 3. He hit the post, and I wonder if he had made that goal. But like, would we not even be saying anything?
No, we wouldn't.
But I don't think we would have.
They don't come back from 3-0.
Not from 3. No. So it is interesting that is how close the margin is between Barca dropping points and not. But I just still think the collapse mentally on the defensive end in the last 15 minutes, very concerning.
It's very concerning, man, especially the Koundé one.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so surprising from a player that I would consider one of the best in his position in the world to just lose his focus like that and allow the Celta Vigo player to just take advantage of him and get the ball an easy goal. And then that second one, Hugo Alvarez with a beautiful control in the box, and the fake shot creates space and then puts it in the back of the net. I mean, Celta Vigo was rocking. They were feeling themselves in those 15 minutes. They played great football for 15 minutes. Props to them. They're on their own trajectory. But for Barcelona, this is concerning, honestly, in my opinion, that this can happen, especially since they had just dropped points to Sociedad before the international break as well. And I wasn't that aware of this being a red flag for Barcelona prior to that Sociedad loss because they were just purely on fire, scoring so many goals that I think they maybe masked the potential defensive liabilities that they can have at times. Because now with this result, we've got a title race and Real Madrid is right there. And bro, we got so many Real Madrid fans in our DMs. It is a sight to see, bro. A sight to see. And I mean, they're hopeful. They're feeling good about themselves that despite a very criticized season, a criticized start to La Liga and Champions League, they still find themselves hopefully a point behind Barcelona, but with a game in hand where they have to win to get that point difference.
Yeah, now I'm really interested in Barcelona's Champions League match this week against Brest, simply because Brest do have a pretty fluid offense. Curious to see if they'll be able to handle a La Liga side. But nonetheless, knowing that Barcelona are susceptible, obviously they'll be watching the tape, but of Sociedad and Celta Vigo's performances, I think Brest might be able to do something. And if Barcelona have this mentality, I just wonder if it's going to show up again. Because right now, it really does look like if Barcelona don't have Lamine Yamal occupying an entire wing, then they're going to be susceptible to conceding goals or possibly not even scoring themselves. As you said, they kind of masked this problem with most likely just outscoring their opponent like crazy. And, we talk about Odegaard being really important for Arsenal, and we had brought up the point, who is Barcelona's most important player? It might be Lamine Yamal, man. It really might be, because I think he's just so deadly, since he can literally do anything on the ball, that he occupies at least 2 to 3 defenders. And I think that greatly hurts their opponent's chances of attacking Barcelona. When he's not on the pitch, though, there's just not that much activity on that side. Rafinha can only do so much. Lewandowski's going to be still very deadly, but there's a massive hole that is just completely not filled in when Yamal's not on the pitch.
No, dude, true. And do you know what happened to him? Where is he, bro?
I don't know. I honestly, I didn't really hear like any major news when he got injured. I guess it's just like a little muscle discomfort that they're just monitoring.
He's been playing a lot. He's been playing a lot since before the Euros, so I understand maybe taking a break. It's just it concerns me that the moment he does do that, things go haywire for Barcelona. And Celta Vigo, I mean, honestly, becoming to Barcelona what Tottenham is to Manchester City.
Yeah.
Just a really, really tough team that will play up to Barca's level the way that Tottenham plays up to Manchester City's level. It's pretty impressive. And on the other side, Real Madrid defeating Leganes with Mbappe scoring a goal, Bellingham, Valverde. What do you make of Real Madrid's last 2 results? They beat Leganes and they beat Osasuna. Yes, they're back in the title race, but is this more so Barca struggling, shooting themselves in their own foot and letting Real Madrid back in? Or should any credit be given to Real Madrid for staying in it and just, getting the results when they need to?
Nah, I mean, dude, Osasuna were trash. And then Leganes literally did nothing in
that's why I'm a little hesitant, man.
And we look at the Champions League matches that have gone sandwiched in between those matches. Madrid have not been good. We're going to see Madrid play Liverpool on Wednesday. I'm expecting Madrid to get beaten here against Liverpool. And there's no doubt in my mind that Liverpool are going to win. It's at Anfield as well. It's going to be a hell of a game. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're going to see Madrid kind of bend the knee to a superior team.
That'd be ridiculous, though, given the context and the history between both these teams during the Klopp era, where Real Madrid ultimately did have their number, but it would be the turning of a page here if Liverpool can get that result. I think Liverpool beats them.
Yeah.
I want them to destroy them.
Yeah.
I want them to destroy them, but I'm not going to give that. I'm not going to say that knowing the players Real Madrid has and what they can offer and what they can do. But, man, Benzema was the player that scared me when he was at Anfield last time, but he's not here anymore. I got to worry about him. I think Liverpool can contain Vinny Jr., Mbappe, who's still going through his shit, and a team that is riddled with injuries right now. They had to start Goulet, for example, on the right wing, who played great. He played amazing, but I think this is a really, really big match that Liverpool will step up in and get the result. But regardless, it's going to be a huge, massive week for Liverpool, specifically playing Real Madrid and Manchester City. But this game is important, I think, for the Madridistas, for them to, yes, they're back in the title race, but I don't think that says much given the context of La Liga. They need to show that they're here for the Champions League, man. They need to show that. And so I need to see Real Madrid put in a good performance, because if they lose here once again, I think they're in the midst of a really disappointing season in the Champions League.
Exactly. I need to see them go all out against Liverpool, give their best performance. But as you said, it is going to be tough, right? Asensio, the center back, he's new to the squad. He's playing great, though. Just like as Goulet's in due to Rodrigo's injury, he's playing great as well. But there's so much inexperience right now with a couple of these Madrid players. Valverde was right back in this game against Leganes. He's makeshift position. Obviously, he can do it. He's class. But you look at Liverpool, and I mean, it's one of the most defined squads in the entire world. So I just think Madrid are going to really struggle. But again, they do have players like Vinicius, Mbappe, Jude Bellingham. They can show up. I just don't think they will.
That's La Liga, and that is the Premier League. We cover the 2 biggest leagues here. But folks, it's time to talk about the biggest story. The biggest story in club football, and in my opinion, one of the most heartfelt ones that we've had the pleasure of covering since we started this podcast, because unlike other stories where, we cover a team that we get really attached to and we grow to love, but then ultimately see them fall short. You know, like Peru in the World Cup, Canada in the World Cup,
remind me, man.
Atletico
Fuck.
Tucumán during their little run. We've gone through a lot on this show, but finally, we've got a team that we notice, we bring up, we watch, we attach ourselves, and we see them drown in glory as they win La Copa Sudamericana. Who is that team, brother?
Racing Club, man. Racing Club, our Copa Sudamericana champions.
Let's go.
Defeating Cruzeiro, the Brazilian club, in sunny Asunción, Paraguay.
What a stadium.
Which it's a beautiful, beautiful stadium, man. Completely filled out by both sides, Racing and Cruzeiro. But, dude, that first half was one of the most exhilarating performances from a South American side that I've seen in a while, bro, because Racing popped the fuck off, man. Completely suffocating Cruzeiro over the first 20, 25 minutes. Cruzeiro kind of got back into it at that point, but Racing had such a dominant first half performance. They actually got the ball into the back of the net in the first 5 minutes, but I guess it was offside. I guess, man. I even looked at the lines. I was like, I still don't know if that was offside, bro. I really don't know. Martin put a really beautiful finish to possibly give Racing 1-0, but it wasn't meant to be. But what's crazy is God said, Martirena, I'm going to give you your goal, because I don't know what magic got in the end of that ball from Martirena's cross shot that ended up going in, but ridiculous. Please go watch these highlights. That first real goal from Racing is absolutely stunning. Martirena eventually gets his goal, and then soon after, Maxi Salas provides a brilliant pass to Adrian Martinez. They go up 2-0, and honestly, at that point, I just did not see Cruzeiro getting back into this match, man. It was night and day. It was men against boys. I will give Cruzeiro a little bit of credit, because to start the second half, they did get back onto the ball. You know, Racing were probably a little bit tired due to the heat. Dude, it was 98 degrees out there. And I really do think that affected the way that they play, since they press a lot when they don't have the ball. Cruzeiro were able to knock it around. Caio Jorge gets back on the board for Cruzeiro. It's 2-1, but nah. Racing locked in. They saw it out, bro. Roger Martinez, ex-Club America, drills it, makes it 3-1, and it's Racing Club glory, my friend. What a win. Their first continental title, I think, since the 80s. This is a massive, massive win for the club, and it's so deserved, because I've watched every single game since the round of 16. I've seen every single knockout stage, and it was clear that Racing Club had the best offense in the Copa Sudamericana and one of the better defensive midfields due to the press that they employ against every single side. They beat Corinthians in the semifinals, and I thought that was very defining for them, and they, in my opinion, for a good 60 minutes, dominated Cruzeiro in this final. A team could not be more deserving, and I really love the parallel too, because if you look at the Europa League, right, Atalanta being the winners, I really do think Racing Club are the Atalanta of the Americas, man, because they play such stunning offensive football, but they're very, very aggressive defensively as well. You get a really beautiful product out on the pitch, because, dude, there's some ballers out here for Racing, bro. They're fantastic to watch, and dude, they average like 3 goals a game. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's stunning, efficient offense. They're so clinical. Maxi Salas, ex-Necaxa, by the way, he's so hardworking, does not stop running. Adrian Martinez, who got the second goal in this match, he's so crafty. He is so crafty as a striker. He can make something out of nothing. And then, of course, you have Juan Fernando Quintero as a really good creator in this side, and the rest of the team works so hard. You have really good attacking fullbacks as well. The Uruguayan Martirena, who got a goal both in the semifinals and the final here. This club has a complete squad. They are so fun to watch, and again, could not be more deserving. What a finals win for Racing Club.
Storybook. This is storybook, man. I thought it was so significant that third goal specifically went in. Yeah. Because so many times in finals we see, that opportunity of a knockout blow. And the way that Gustavo Costas and that entire sideline was edging themselves that second half, having had previous counterattacking opportunities and not finishing them, the fact that on the final one, the ball finally hit the back of the net. Bro, he ran across the entire fucking field, bro. He basically ended the game himself, man. Gustavo Costas showcasing his passion and the Racing clubs and everything. The atmosphere was ridiculous. If you watch the highlights, focus on the third one, because for me, that third goal was cocaine, dude. It was crack, football crack. And it was just amazing to see as Racing Club goes on to lift the trophy. What a performance. You've already listed them. The players are amazing. But there's one specific player I want to highlight, Juan Fernando Quintero. Obviously, a very, I would say, known name for this team. One of the standouts because of his, honestly, class that he has in the South American division, being one of the better players in that region from Colombia. But his story is crazy. I mean, he was interviewed post-game, and I was really interested to see what he had to say. And the dude was in tears as they asked him about just, like his journey. Because I didn't know this, but he's played on 10 teams, bro. 10 teams, 31 years old. He's had a career where he's jumped around so much trying to find his place in his home and a team that will ultimately welcome him and accept him. And it's crazy because he's from Colombia, but he's gone over to try out, the FC Porto path, for example, like how Luis Diaz did, but that didn't work out for him. And he's tried other regions as well, but the country that welcomed him ultimately was Argentina, man. And he said it himself that he low-key in a way does consider him a part of the Argentine community, not trying to disregard his Colombian heritage. He said, I'm still Colombian, but Argentina is like my second country, because not only is he a Copa Sudamericana winner now, he won the fucking Copa Libertadores with River Plate. And he scored a banger in the final, man. Like, he really has found a home in this region. Argentina has welcomed him, and bro, he's given back so much, man. So many beautiful moments. Not many players out there that can say that they have a Sudamericana and a Libertadores, bro. Like, that's forever. That's a legacy right there. I think that's a super dope legacy to have as well. Like, if you could pick your career and what you could experience, Juan Fernando Quintero ultimately, despite coming from low means, as he said in the interview, he has achieved so much, and I think he's representative of a lot of these Racing Club fans as well, who have gone through a lot to finally lift up a trophy of this magnitude, and also the players with guys like Gustavo Costas too, the coach, having a really storied career too. Like, Racing Club, I think, is such a beautiful story in world football that we actually get to see end with glory. Yeah,
it's so dope to see, dude. Juan Fernando Quintero, he really is like James, but almost like the club version, in the sense that James shows up for Colombia only and not at club. Juan Fernando shows up at club level, but only in the continental tournaments, bro. Because he was the MVP in that final against Boca Juniors, and he was fantastic and instrumental in Racing's journey to this final. But it's so strange that he has not been able to find consistency in his club career, just like James. But when you need him most, he does show up.
No, he does, dude. He really does. And I always see him as such a creative player that can provide moments of class. So I saw videos of Racing Club fans just crying. I mean, the moment that they've been waiting for this for so long. This is just such a big trophy that you just can't disregard a tournament like this, man. Copa Sudamericana, it really is, I think, one of the best tournaments out there in world football, because that South American region, despite it not being the Libertadores, still values a trophy of this nature.
Yeah, and honestly, my biggest takeaway out of watching every single knockout stage of the Sudamericana specifically this year, and it's a takeaway that I get reminded of periodically throughout my football watching journey, and it's that South American football is the shit, dude.
Yeah.
And the message to all viewers and audiences out there listening to this podcast, go watch South American football. The intensity is just as high as a European Club Champions League match. It's ridiculous, man, how much every game matters. Obviously, the quality might not be there, but the thing is, when you get a team like Racing or you get a team like Botafogo in Brazil, they match teams that play in Europe. Their class is incredible. It's beautiful to see a product that is American rival a European product. So I'm just saying, like, obviously we're Liga MX fans, we're Mexican Americans, and probably most of our viewers are. But if you really want to see good American Latino football, it's in South America, bro. It's top notch, truly.
And we had another championship, correct? This past weekend?
We did.
One that I did not watch.
Yeah.
So I'm all ears to what was the USL experience.
The USL champion final, my friend. It was the Colorado Switchbacks against, wait for it, Rhode Island FC.
Wow.
I have never said Rhode Island
I don't think
football
we ever talked Rhode Island, bro.
in my life. I've never said the words Rhode Island football in a sentence
bro.
ever,
Hell
bro.
nah. I hope they lost too, bro. Hell nah.
It's crazy, man. But that's the potential of the USL is getting teams in very small markets. Rhode Island found themselves a ticket to a final, bro. In Colorado Springs, the Switchbacks hosting. And honestly, dude, complete domination from Colorado.
Damn.
It was a beautiful crowd. I love these little, 6,000, 10,000 seater stadiums, man.
Okay.
They're so small. They're so intimate. It's bare bones. But despite the small crowd, it's completely packed and there's so much pride. There's so much passion. There's so much culture with these smaller clubs here in the States. It's beautiful to watch, truly, because you get these players who, obviously aren't at the highest level, but they're playing good football.
Okay.
And the team like Colorado, they were possessing the ball elegantly, man. Like they were trying to play really good football, building from the back and using their wingers. Jairo Enriquez, the El Salvadorian player who, by the way, started in every match during the World Cup qualifiers for 2022.
Wow.
He's on this Colorado team. And then on the other side, Hanya, a really good dribble penetrator. They completely dominated this match from an offensive perspective. Rhode Island could not contain them. But again, as I said earlier, the possession that Colorado had during this match, it was just too much. They moved the ball around so well. I was actually really impressed with the approach that this Switchbacks team had. Like, if there was promotion relegation, let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
If there was, and let's say they got like $50 to $100 million due to the promotion, they'd have a good foundation. Truly. I'm not just saying that because they won. Rhode Island, on the other hand, I'd say they had a lot more work to do. But this Colorado team probably could play at the MLS level if they were able to buy a couple of other players. I was actually really impressed with the level of play. They absolutely dominated Rhode Island. It ended 3-0.
Damn.
3-0 in a final, man.
Bringing them more glory than the freaking Rapids, dude.
Yeah, way
Good
more.
Lord,
it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, but good for them. Congratulations to any Switchback fans out there that are watching the podcast and to the team. That's a major victory, bro. That really is. And I'm interested in taking more of a view into USL because I'm just curious to see what other teams America has to offer outside of the MLS.
Dude, no, for real, man. Like, I was looking at a lot of the news here in North Texas. There's another USL team being made. It's like USL Dallas, and they're going to be like in the Garland area.
Interesting.
And obviously our hometown is getting a USL team, Texoma FC, which is crazy. Dude, I was thinking USL teams are popping up at the same frequency as crypto coins. It's ridiculous.
They're good investments, man.
They really
communities want them, bro.
And
They
you
really
can put
do.
them anywhere.
Yeah.
You can put them anywhere. Like, I'm calling it right now. In the next 20 years, there's going to be a Doge FC. There's going to be meme USL
man,
teams,
it just pisses
bro.
me off, man, because that shit popped up when I was a kid. I wouldn't be podcasting right now, man. I'd be on a fucking 11 right now, dude. God damn it, man. But all right, hey, whatever's best for the future of America, man. And I ultimately do hope that promotion gets installed into the American system because I would love to see Colorado play in the MLS, man, after the story that they just closed out. And so staying in America, let's talk MLS playoffs. Because we had some fun one-off games now to go to the conference finals. This is the conference semifinals, and this is when the MLS playoffs start to get really, really interesting. Let's start with the Hudson River Derby as we had New York City FC host New York Red Bulls and get outclassed, man. They got outclassed as New York Red Bulls continues their momentum after having defeated Columbus Crew and pulling off an upset there. They continue showcasing their class and skill and showcasing that not only do they have the better team, they also got the better fans, bro. Because those Red Bull fans pulled up to New York City FC and made them look gotta be careful with my word here.
Yeah.
They just look superior, I would say.
Yeah, no, seriously. I was actually really happy with this performance from the Red Bulls because I think if they play this well, they will find themselves in the final. And I want to see a good final. If New York play like this in the conference finals, then I think they're going to give the American audience a hell of a run against whoever the Western team is, because this Red Bull side is really fun to watch, man, truly. I mean, Carvalho with a absolute banger, man. Complete screamer to get the scoring going for Red Bulls. But again, we noted it in the first round. The presence of Emil Forsberg no other team has an Emil Forsberg other than Ricky Pooch and with LA, and we'll get to that Western side. But in the Eastern Conference, man, there is not a midfielder like Forsberg, and it's very clear the impact that he has because defenses in the MLS just can't read him. They have no idea what he's going to do with the ball, and it allows players like Carvalho as well as Van Zier to kind of just roam around and wreak havoc. Van Zier himself getting a really cheeky goal. Ball was kind of bouncing in the box, and he takes it very well. Very good improvisation. It's 2-0 to New York Red Bulls, man. It was a really, really good performance once again. And what's crazy, though, is New York City had several chances, man.
25 of them. 25
They had a lot, dude. Alonso Martinez, such a good run maker, and he was getting fed. Maxi Morales was feeding him nonstop, but he couldn't finish. He just couldn't finish, man. So I will say Red Bulls might have a bit of a defensive issue if New York were able to break them that many times. But the thing is, City just couldn't finish. So Red Bulls were the better team due to that and for them getting 2 goals as well. So I'm really curious to see if Orlando's going to be able to do anything, but the Red Bulls definitely look probably the best team in the East right now.
Yeah, Red Bulls with this result. Coronel, another great goalkeeping performance after a really good performance against Columbus Crew. And then, yes, New York City FC not being able to finish. The whole time I'm watching it thinking, what would they do right now for Talles Magno and Valentin Castellanos? You know, just really good finishers. Castellanos specifically, who made the move over to Serie A. Just really good finishers that I think would have been able to deliver the way that he did when they went on their title-winning run just a few years ago, what they would do. And just on the topic of New York City FC, you know, playing in a baseball stadium, I was thinking if Carvalho's shot, if there wasn't a goal there, is that a home run?
They mark it like in the stadium.
That'd be kind of dope, bro. It was that powerful. It had that much speed and strength behind it, bro. That would have been a good. I think it would have been a good home run, bro.
Dude. If you saw the trajectory of the ball, it was just rising. It was the net that stopped it. It's crazy, yeah.
And so New York Red Bulls goes to the conference final to face off against a team who is going to be a conference finalist for the first time in their history, and it's a team from Florida. And it's not Inter Miami, my friend.
Yeah.
It is Orlando City who shut down the team that had beaten Inter Miami in the previous round, Atlanta United, as he defeat them 1-0 with Ramiro Enrique scoring a goal here to give Orlando City a team of so much pride and a team of such great atmosphere in their stadium, giving their fans an absolute treat as they progress to the next round.
Dude, I couldn't believe when I heard that this was their first conference finals appearance because when Orlando hit the scene in the MLS, they immediately had one of my favorite fan bases to watch. They're so passionate. They're so loud. I love the build of the stadium. It's really intimate. Their atmospheres are incredible. I really do think it's one of the best in the MLS.
I agree.
Truly, out of the 29 teams, Orlando's probably like top 2 in my opinion. They're so fun to watch, just the fans themselves. So it is so awesome that finally they'll be treated to a conference finals. And the thing is, I mean, the way that they played against Atlanta, really dominant, man. Like, if anything, Atlanta United probably gave everything they had against Miami, honestly, because I'd say for a good hour in this match, Atlanta just looked sluggish. Like, Orlando was just running twice as much as Atlanta. And Atlanta had a good start to the second half. I think that's all I can really give to them. But I thought Orlando held onto the ball and completely dominated in the first half. And then to end the second half, I just didn't think Atlanta were going to get that goal. It got very desperate, whereas Orlando looked in control for pretty much the entire match.
Yeah, Orlando does have a good defense. I'll give 3 playoff games. They've only conceded 1 goal. One of them was to Charlotte, but then Gallese in that back line I think is a really great goalkeeper, and their defensive line is good when you compare it to who they're going to face off against in the New York Red Bulls. I think this becomes a question of, do you go for the fiery, kind of chaotic squad that New York Red Bulls presents, or do you go for the maybe not as offensive but defensively reliable in Orlando City as the winner out of these 2 matches? I'm going New York.
Yeah, same.
I'm going New York, man. I'll be honest, I just like them a little bit more.
Yeah, me too.
I really do.
As you said, even though New York as a whole can be very chaotic, I just think their offense is going to get the best of Orlando. When I look at Orlando's front 3, Angulo on the left-hand side and Facundo Torres on the right, while they are incredibly active, and Angulo specifically is very athletic, while Torres is very crafty, dude, they're not clinical. They are not clinical. Angulo gets past his man like 80% of the time, but he does nothing with it most of the time. And Facundo Torres, while he is growing into himself as a top player in the MLS, I still think he makes not the best decisions. He's not really much of a goal scorer. And when I look at a guy like Forsberg, I trust him way more to make the right pass in these really high intense matches. So I just don't trust Orlando's offense. I trust their defense, but I just don't trust their offense to really show up. I think New York, while they don't have the best defense, can handle Orlando overall, and they just have way better attackers. So give me New York Red Bulls in the final.
There is an interesting factor, though, that can't be ignored, which is that Orlando City will be hosting this game. Yeah. Is that factor enough to flip the idea of New York being the better team on paper? Orlando City's going to have those fans behind them, bro. Dude. And they willed them to a victory against Charlotte. They willed them to a victory against Atlanta. Wouldn't be surprised if they do it against New York Red Bulls as well.
Dude, I want to go, man. Let's go to Florida.
Huh,
let's just be like a nice little Florida trip. Go to Orlando. We'll go to Epcot later.
If they go to the final, we'll go.
No, because the final will probably be in LA,
right,
which we should get to. No, but I truly think the fans are gonna be crazy. Like, again, what a treat to host the conference finals in their first appearance. They deserve it. There's not a more deserving fan base out there in the MLS. I'm so excited. I think the fans themselves are going to make it way more entertaining, because I do think they're going to push Orlando to play their absolute best. But I'm still going New York, baby.
On the other side, we have some important things transpire. Starting off with LAFC, a team that we have been doubtful of for a long time now. Finally getting that knife to the chest, man. No. Seattle Sounders getting the result away from home, pulling off the upset as they defeat LAFC 2-1.
But both these teams are mid, man.
100%.
So mid.
100%.
Honestly, looking at all the 4 teams on the East, the Eastern Conference is way more stacked than the West. There's only one, even at the beginning of these playoffs, there's only one team I really considered threatening on the West, and it's been LA Galaxy. LAFC, I wasn't worried about. I just think they're very mid. Seattle is the definition of average. Every other team in the West has also been very, very average, man. And that's what we got in this game. LAFC against Seattle Sounders. I mean, honestly, when you look at it, it looks like it was going to go to penalties at a certain point. LAFC got a really good goal to take the lead. Seattle get back into it, but you look at the goal and it is really bad. An absolute howler from Chanot. Honestly, I don't even know what happens there. He completely puts the ball in the back of his own net. There was no pressure on him either. Really poor. Honestly, that was the moment that gave Seattle any chance, because Seattle have a terrible offense. But Jordan Morris comes up clutch in extra time. Yes, and Seattle are in the conference finals now.
One of America's finest right there, Jordan Morris, man. But LAFC, their inability to really create anything dangerous once the pressure was truly on them to equalize this game, or even when they were tied, that's what to me stood out. I was like, this team doesn't want it, and they also don't know how to get it. They really don't know how to generate a goal here or just be a dangerous offensive team. But I've seen that basically this whole season. Every time I check in on LAFC, we saw it in the final against Columbus Crew in the Leagues Cup as well. This LAFC team, I just don't think was destined for any silverware this year, despite having notable names, like Lloris, Giroud, Bouanga. The names are there. Bogus had a great season. Just not enough, I think, cohesion and mental fortitude, honestly, to be able to go deep and win these tournaments. So they're out. Seattle goes through. And I've never been more sure of an MLS matchup than the one we're going to see in the Western Conference Finals and who's going to win, because we have LA Galaxy facing off against Minnesota United and beating them by 4 goals in a game where they scored 6, dude. They're 6-2. An absolute mollywhopping of this Minnesota United side, who at one point, bro, I was like, why are y'all even here, bro?
I know.
Why are y'all even here? 6 goals is ridiculous.
Crazy.
LA Galaxy by far the best team in the MLS. I think you would agree with me here.
Oh, yeah.
And in my opinion, one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen grace this league.
Oh, dude, they are running riot in the playoffs. I completely agree. Their offense is electric to watch. It's why I wish there was just more big games in the MLS, because imagine if we got more of this LA Galaxy. Because right now they're turning it on because this is when it really matters. But ultimately it's going to be like 4 games.
Yeah.
We get to see peak LA Galaxy for 4 matches. Yeah. I just wish that I just wish somehow the schedule would have bigger, more important, meaningful matches, because this LA Galaxy team right now is a treat to watch. Their offense is absolutely stunning. And dude, the way this game started, Ricky Puig in the first couple of minutes with a brilliant through ball. Gabriel Peck says, "Thank you very much. I'll finish this for you, Ricky." And he does. He puts it up 1-0. And at that point, I was like, oh, Minnesota are done, bro. They get back into it for a split second, but LA Galaxy completely took care of them by halftime.
3 goals before halftime. And even then, the score, I think, was 3-2. So, I mean, technically, Minnesota was in it going into the second half. But what we saw afterwards was just a complete demolishing of this Minnesota United side. And I've never wanted anything more, bro, especially this season. If the football gods could just give me the matchup that I asked for, give me next week. You get 7 days of rest. LA Galaxy versus Racing Club.
Oh, I would love that. 2
of the most fiery squads in the Americas going head-to-head with the momentum that they currently have right now, man. If I could just get a matchup like that, I would be enamored, ecstatic, because of the way that this team plays offensively. I think is very similar to how Racing Club plays as well in the Sudamericana and in Argentina. But dude, I'm seeing the goal scorers for the playoffs, and what you just said, 4 games, Ricky Puig, Gabriel Peck, Joveljic, and Paintsil.
Dude,
I think they've scored over like 12 goals combined, bro.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And the football is so free-flowing. It's so fluid. The confidence, as I think what really stands out in this LA Galaxy side, every time they take the pitch, they're just smiling at each other. They're just like, all right, we're about to score 4 goals, boys. And it's stunning to watch. Let's fund that game. If we could have every subscriber give us $10,
oh, we could do it like
we
that.
could set this game up, and you know what? Fuck it, we'll do it in Buenos Aires.
Damn, bro. God, that'd be so dope.
I wish, bro.
That'd be so dope. Who would win?
Racing. Racing would definitely win.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know, man.
No, trust me.
I don't know, man. Cruzeiro made it close, and they don't have anywhere near an offense like LA Galaxy, man. I think it's a shootout. I think it's a 4-3 Racing victory. I do. But I think LA is in it, dude.
Oh, no, for sure. I'm not saying they get blown out 5-0.
Then watch your tone, all right?
I'm just telling you that Racing are going to win.
Right,
if the game's there,
the tone guy. You got to be careful with the tone. All right, I'm with you. But I'm just saying, it'd be an amazing watch. It'd be an amazing game to watch, man. It really would.
Yeah.
Like intercontinental type performance. But regardless, LA Galaxy goes through, and it's so clear to me that they're the favorite. They should be the ones that lift the MLS Cup.
They should be.
And honestly, I'm going to throw a protest against the format if LA Galaxy ends up losing somehow. I'm not going to put it on them. I'm going to say this is on the format. Y'all fucked this up. LA Galaxy should be the winner by the end of the season because they've been 100% the best team. Bro, they haven't lost at home.
Yeah.
I learned that while watching the transmission. They did lose technically at home when they played against LAFC at the Rose Bowl. That was considered a home game for them. But you ask any LA Galaxy fan, they're going to say, no. We have not lost at home. That's a crazy stat to me. They're absolutely dominant. And here's a caveat. Here's a great thing about that. They play the rest of their games in the playoffs at home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done, bro.
It's almost destined for LA Galaxy to lift this trophy. They really do look like the clear best team left in the MLS. I do think we'll get a fun final, though. And if New York make it, or hell, even if Orlando, they'll have a really interesting opportunity to steal it, because I do think they'll be able to compete more so than any Western team would be able to. So I think we're going to get a great final. But yeah, give me LA Galaxy, because the way they're playing is just so entertaining. But yeah, these home matches from LA, they're fire, man. Like the fans are showing up that wall on that left side of the pitch from the camera view. Dude, it's completely packed. And I wonder how many LAFCers are secretly going to these games, just like kind of in disguise, you know, just like catching vibes.
I know that's happening, bro.
I know that's
happening, man. And the other way around too. When LA Galaxy was in the mud, I'm sure a few of them were going to LAFC.
Sure,
man.
bro.
That's an interesting one right there. It's like Clippers Lakers type shit.
Yeah.
Too, you know? But regardless, the fans are great. I remember when we went last year, it was a great experience, and that was when they were bad. I can't imagine how it must be right now that they're on fire and potentially going to lift the MLS Cup. And so that's what we have for the MLS right now. Let's move on over to our neighboring country, Mexico, as we have the Liguilla play-in matches happening this past week with Chivas getting knocked out. And look, I'm not going to dissect this one, all right? I never even brought up Chivas this season because I I just never even saw any hope in them whatsoever. I've spoken about them in the past when I felt a little bit more optimism, and that was showcased in the performances that we saw, at least going a little bit deeper when it came to La Liga. But this year, bro, never was a thought. Never was even a thought. And I think ultimately this game showcased it with, yes, we went up 1-0 with Victor Guzman's penalty, but the way we imploded, I think, is fitting of the attitude around this Chivas team right now, and just the relationship the team has with the fans, with the players, and the squad that we have at the moment. Just not good enough and not something to be excited about.
What do you think of the penalty? Was that a penalty?
I thought it was hella soft.
So soft,
and had it been deeper into the Liga, I would have had more to say about it.
Yeah.
It's a play-on game.
Right.
I'm like, whatever. All right, we go out like this, fine. We're gonna get eliminated some way, somehow. And so I'm actually very pessimistic. For as optimistic of a person I am, I'm very pessimistic about what happened with Chivas this year, man.
Yeah, because even, let's say they would have beaten Atlas, I don't think y'all were going to beat Tijuana tonight. So yeah, it ultimately completely meaningless, that penalty shot. All I just think it was weird. Bad refereeing. But yeah, dude, the way Aldo Rocha celebrated that pen, oh my God, man.
But even that's meaningless now, man. That's what kind of pisses me off, bro.
I know, dude.
Because we go on to see Tijuana matched up with Atlas after Tijuana lost to America in a penalty shootout where Tijuana was leading that game 2-1 at one point, and then Sendejas breaks the wing, feeds a beautiful ball in. America ties it to make it 2-2, pushes it to penalties, and Malagón steps up to give America the victory. I just, we've highlighted America this season as a team that isn't very good and, is a defending champion, but we don't see ultimately lifting the trophy. I do think America is one of those teams, though, that is very difficult to knock out. The name, the history, the aura, whatever you want to call it, is difficult to get them out. They're not an easy game whatsoever, no matter where they are or what the current state of that team is. And it showed itself in this Tijuana match where, even though I think Tijuana deserved it more, even though they showcased today that they were the better team against Atlas, America still finds a way to get through and at least give themselves a shot at the Liguilla.
Yeah, and I would say if America were playing any other team outside of Toluca, Cruz Azul, they could probably make a good run, but they do play Toluca in that quarterfinal, and just the way Toluca's playing this Apertura, I just don't even see America taking advantage of a two-leg series.
Yeah, and so Tijuana ends up defeating Atlas 3-0 in a game where, this could have been 5-0, this could have been 6-0.
Oh my God.
Atlas just did not show up, or rather they had their opportunities but couldn't put them on goal. So many shots just skying, and ultimately Atlas makes a waste of that historic victory over Chivas, if you will, losing 3-0 away from home to this Tijuana side who ultimately was a better team.
Way better. So much more confident in possession, way more fluid on the ball. Zúñiga really attacking Atlas's two center backs, getting 2 good goals today. Tijuana were way, way better than Atlas. Honestly, Atlas didn't even show up, man. Mm-hmm. A really shitty game from them. Very, very disappointed. I thought that they'd at least, really fight for that last Liguilla position. But now Tijuana showed their class just as they did against America. They did it here at home against Atlas.
Who's winning Liga MX?
I said it when we noted Cruz Azul were possibly going to make history, but they didn't. Did you see that?
They didn't in regards to the entire league's history. They did if you do the caveat of games played. Because in the past, they played 18 or 19 games, I believe. And now in the current era, it's 17. And so since we started playing 17 games, this is the most points accumulated. But
Gotcha.
the record that I brought up was actually when it was like 18 or 19.
Gotcha.
So...
And in that moment, I said Cruz Azul are going to win the whole thing, and I'm still sticking by that. I just think they play the best football by far in Mexico right now. Toluca are close, though. And if we get treated to a Cruz Azul Toluca final, it's going to be a banger. And in that moment, honestly, I think Toluca might have something to say. Mm-hmm. But I'm going Cruz Azul all the way. I just don't see any other team being able to attack them other than Toluca.
Yeah, I've thought about this hard, man, because I'm like, do I want to buy into the Cruz Azul project? It's been incredible. Anselmi is the coach of the year in this region.
Yeah.
He is just bringing them back to life, even after losing the final last year. I think it's such a big thing that is a compliment to their mentality and the way that he has these guys drilled. The chemistry is amazing. Cruz Azul, I think, is a favorite to win the tournament. But I'm going to go Toluca.
You going Toluca?
I'm going Toluca, man. I think just the way the chips are going to fall, are going to end up favoring Toluca. The momentum that they'll have after defeating a big name like America, despite not being that great this season, the momentum, the mentality factor, I think is big for this Toluca team. Getting a victory there to move on to the semifinals and having a player of Paulinho's magnitude, I think is huge, because we saw it in the best of times, in the prime of Tigres, when you have a go-to guy like Gignac, a big player that can score a goal or assist whenever you need it the most. It comes huge in La Liga, especially in Liga MX. It's a huge asset to have. And Paulinho went off this year. And now it's time for, the bright lights to be on, for him to truly showcase that Portuguese talent that he has and take this team to the final. Whereas Cruz Azul, I think, is more so a mixture of a lot of good players where they offer a lot of scoring opportunities, but they don't have a big focal point the way that Toluca does specifically. So I think that's actually going to come into play when it comes to these really big matches. That clutch gene, I think, is going to show for Toluca. So I'm actually going to buy into Toluca this year. Let's see if it ends in glory, or if ultimately I experience the classic Toluca experience where, you get excited and you end up losing 7-1 in a final or some bullshit. What happened? What was the score of that game?
Yeah, no, it wasn't like 6.
It was terrible,
It was like
bro.
6-7-1. It was bad. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm going Toluca.